Hey guys, Verns here, back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the round 6 review. And unfortunately we took a bit of a dive this week. Before I jump into the Supercoach though, as you guys can see in the background, I have changed rooms of my setup, so I am now in our gym room. Just a little bit further away from the bedroom because I was being a bit too loud, unfortunately. But that's all cool. I hope you guys enjoy the look of the gym equipment in the background, and for most of you that are ignoring that, then great. Well, jumping into the round, we went down 33 places to 77 overall after putting out a 377. So that's it's kind of funny in that sense. 33 places down, 77 now, and we went 377. Like that just, I don't know. I just like the way that kind of looks. Round rank, we had a 1,071. Yeah, it wasn't a good round from us. Oh my goodness. What could have been if I had the cojones to make it happen? We're going to jump on the team here to have a bit of a look at it. But I'm sure that all of you know, but Doolittle went a massive this week. And we all know I wanted him so bad. And it just didn't work out. And look, the reason that I chose Pinder, at the end of the day, if I was going to go Doolittle, that would have then freed up some cash. And as we saw at the end of the last video, I free up cash, then hey, I brought in, say, Adams instead. And then with Adams, I moved Sobey to the bench. I mean, that would have been amazing. Adams on field with PJC and then Doolittle up here. Like, that would have netted me so many extra points this round. Saying that, though, we didn't pick up Pinder for just this round. We picked him up because he has a good game this week, and then he has a good double the following week. So that's why we picked up Pinder. So one round doesn't quite give it the justice it deserves. Saying that, for those that went Williams, he earned an extra 17 points on top. Once again, we have the extra weeks to try and make that up, Pinder does. But a lot of people put the captaincy on him. So it wasn't just 17, it was 12 more than PJC, so maybe a 29-point difference if we look at it in that way. Pinder just didn't really work out on this specific round, but as I said, we didn't pick him just for this specific round. The other thing I was actually tossing up was something I played with earlier in the week, is if I did go Doolittle, the extra cash means that I could have kept Saar, and we definitely knew Saar was going to score more. I mean, I definitely said that in the video that I want Saar here, but because of the cash flow situation, if I want Pinder, Saar sort of has to go. I mean, if you told me Doolittle was going to match Pinder's scoring, then Saar definitely would have stayed. But yeah, unfortunately, Saar outscores Aldridge by 40 points. So that's 20 points lost on the bench there. Pinder gets outscored by 6. That's, well, it would have been on field, so that's another 6 points. So 26 points lost there. The other thing, I think I was tossing up with that is with the extra money, if I went that route. No, if I did go Saar, that's just how that would have been. We would have had, Doolittle, Saar, and Qual come in sort of thing. So it just a bit unfortunate that I said this round we lost a bit of points. Either way we sort of look at it. But as I said, we didn't pick Pinder just for this round. But yeah, this was a big round for a lot of sense that there was just a lot of foul trouble for a lot of well-owned guys, and it just caused a lot of issues. So that was really unfortunate. Williams was another one who got into foul trouble and even got fouled out in his game 1. And look, the thing with Williams is 45% of the top 1% jumped on this man, and he ended up, and a lot of them put the captaincy on him, and he ended up doing really well. And it's unfortunate that we took the pod play by going Pinder, and as I said, it hasn't worked out, but it does set us up well for round 8. So I got to keep remembering that this round didn't work out, but there's 2 more rounds that Pinder can claw that back. The other thing that I'm super upset about is that for those that don't know, Doolittle is 0% owned in the top 1%. Nobody has him in the top 1%. Top 5%, I think 6 people ended up bringing him in. I could have been the one guy in the top 1% that had Doolittle and then dividends, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. I just didn't have the cojones to make that play, and yeah, a little bit sad. I mean, the other thing was I think I really convinced myself on Pinder, and I think I did for the right reason. I mean, we'll jump to the rounds in a minute, but I mean, Pinder this week has New Zealand. Like, we know they don't run a center. They have a Matt Yang. Sorry, I'm saying Matt Yang like it's a word. Matt Yang is the full last name of the center that New Zealand have been running, who's been doing all right for them, but they don't even start with him, sort of thing. They just run a very small lineup. Maybe they have been starting with him. Look, either way, it's a very small lineup, and I think Pinder will crush them this round, as to why I really wanted Pinder. And then for last round, he came into Adelaide. Last time they played Adelaide, that's when Pinder dropped the 50. So, I mean, it's hard to look past him going into Adelaide, who aren't a good team. He dropped 50 on them last time, and they concede points in the paint. They concede points under the bucket. Like, it just seemed like a great game for him to get going, and unfortunately, he didn't go crazy. I think he got 27 in that game, maybe 28. I can clearly just click on it, 28. So a little bit underwhelming for what I wanted him to be able to perform in that game. And then in this Melbourne United game, once again, very poor, 23. He ended up getting fouled off. I'm pretty sure he was fouled off. But he got fouled off with plenty of time on that clock, and he just couldn't quite get it together. And considering he had 13 Supercoach in the first quarter, because he had the same thing Bannon did, where he missed a shot under the ring, and then he grabbed the rebound like 3 times before he finally scored it, and just completely stat-padded him. So it was really unfortunate in that sense that he had a great first quarter and then only got 10 more points in the rest of the game, and he gets fouled off in the first game that goes to overtime this season, and I have nobody on the floor, like in my Supercoach side, that's on the floor in the extra 5 minutes. So unfortunate there. Melbourne, I believe the stat is that they give up the third most team that gives up the points in paint, which, as we know, Pinder is a huge scorer of the points in the paint. So that's why I really thought, Pinder this week just seemed like a massive play in the sense that it seemed like, honestly, a 60 minimum, and I thought he had upside to go 70, 75 plus, and it just didn't work out that way. So that was the thing that was a little bit disappointing with Pinder this week, and that's why I wanted Pinder so bad. And that was the big deciding factor at the end of the day. I mean, Doolittle compared to him, I just wanted Pinder over him. I thought Doolittle puts out a 40, but if Pinder's putting out 70 plus, then it's not even remotely comparable. And then we have... sorry, I just got really distracted by the dog barking. What did I just say? And then we had Saar versus Aldridge, which, as I said, I really wanted Saar preferably over Aldridge, but if Pinder was going to be outscoring Doolittle, like, in my opinion, I thought it was going to be like 30 points, then there's no way that was going to be a worthwhile trade. So a little bit unfortunate there. I'm just going to quickly pause here, guys, just because we got some little friends that have come in to say hi. And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to make sure the dogs weren't going to bark it down while we were doing this. But look, I've rambled on enough about the trades I made, why I made them, and unfortunately they didn't quite work out as of this round. We still have 2 more rounds that I would technically be holding Pinder for to see if that ends up working out for us. So we'll quickly jump into game 1. I'm going to try and make this a bit quicker because I know last week it was a very long video because I just went through every game in way too much detail, so I'm so sorry about that. First of all, looking at this, Bannon is insane. He just went up, I think, another 70k, minus 13 break even. If you don't have him, you still need to, honestly, I want to say get on him, but it's going to be hard. He's at an expensive point where it's going to be a bit hard to get on him now, but he's worth so much. Like, he's so good. He did obviously get the double-double in this game, and that's because he missed a shot, got his rebounds, missed a shot, got his rebounds, scores the shot, and got fouled. And it just ended up being a massive play that, he gets to a double-double because of it, as well as all these extra stats he managed to pad in between. So really bolstered his Supercoach score for us. Norton obviously has a good game. Harrison is actually a monster. This guy... Just anyone that got on him has been so rewarded. First of all, he has been so good for Brisbane. There's a reason that Baines is starting on the bench because this guy has been so good. He's been running these little spin moves to the basket. He's been getting all these slams under it. He's been a huge shining light for Brisbane that, they needed somebody to step up when things were going wrong for them. And we talked about Brisbane getting their shit together. And I talked about McDaniels being a new defensive lockdown player, but I didn't give Harrison the credit he deserves because this man has been insane for them. And it's just, Oh, yeah, he's just been so good. And anyone that actually got on him when Baines went down, and they've just been rewarded absolute dividends. He put down 60 points this week, which is obviously insane. But he's just made them like 100K as well. So, like, I'm pretty sure the guy that's rank 1 right now, he grabbed Harrison, and you wouldn't look back. Harrison has been so good. So, yeah, Harrison just congrats to anyone that got on him. He has been a monster. Baines was back in this game. White came out with a good game. They sort of got ahead and ran away with the game, so White got a lot more court time. And this was unfortunate for Sobey. He got 2 fouls again in the first quarter, went off for a long time, came back partway through the second. And I'm like, that's okay. He did this last week and he brought it back. Let's believe in it. But he did not bring it back, and it's pretty disappointing there. Now, on South Melbourne's side, we have Brown dropping almost 50 points, which, look, great works to Shots. Shots, shout out there, messaged me on Twitter and just asked me, he's like, hey, I'm considering Browning. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh, man, if I had to be honest, like, he's just too versatile of a player. I think you have safer players to go for in that instance that are on the double. You could go for Adams. Cotton is a good pick if you have the money for them. Sobey's a similar price. Like, I think there's just better options. This man ended up being like, stuff ya. Like, I think you're wrong. At the end of the day, as I say, I always just give my opinion. I think there's better options. I also made the comment that I said because he's highly versatile that he could go off, but I think there's just better options. Ends up dropping 49 here. Ends up getting 80 for the highest score in the week. Shots not only brought Brownie in being like, nah, you're bloody wrong, mate. He captained him. What a mad lad. Ends up with the 80 on the captain and just had a massive week. And really congrats there because, yeah, I mean, crazy. I don't think many people would have owned Brown. And I don't think many people would. I don't think if anyone would have captained him. Like, that's just insanely crazy. And it just worked out so well. And as we saw from Brown a couple of weeks ago, he dropped a 4 in a game. And that's what we're scared of when we talk about highly versatile, is that he has a great ceiling, but he has basically a floor at absolute basement level. Like, it is terrible. And that's what I'd be scared of with Brown. And that's why I thought there would be safer or better options. And not went Brown, and it worked out dividends. And just congrats to you. Now, Creek, 27, we're pretty happy with that in this game. Williams, 27, gets fouled off in this game. And that was good for us non-owners. But then he obviously comes back and torches us in the second game. And as I said, Williams is a really fun player to watch. But at the same time, when you don't own him, it's a little bit stressful. Like, he's just so good. And, yeah, the only thing that's holding him back was literally foul trouble. Like, that's the only thing that holds him back at the moment. Because otherwise, he is going to be going off every single game. And we did know this, but I did think Pinder could outscore him over this period of time with the extra double game in round 8. As I said, still more weeks to make up for that. So yeah, really good work to anyone that decided to go on the Williams train, and most people went ahead and captained him too. New Zealand into Cairns, so run it back. New Zealand's one win of the season. They're 1-4, and they pick up their second win. They've 2-0'd Cairns so far, and they've gone to 2-4. At this stage, obviously, they played another game. But yeah, this is a game where the points were really spread out. Like, New Zealand are not running a very deep team. Like, you can see it even here on Cairns. Like, a lot of teams get players on for just a couple of minutes here or there, but not. New Zealand, they decided they want their 5. They decided to start running their next star a lot more, which is something I actually want to look at. So he's got a break even of -9. That's actually pretty crazy. And he's getting run a lot more and doing really well. Like, he might be actually someone that we need to consider getting on to make some money. Because he just made 5K. Yeah, someone that actually could be considered. Because, yeah, New Zealand's playing him a lot more. He is great from the 3, and he is looking really good now. He's also a bit of an older next star, where I think he's 21. But, yeah, that's definitely something I need to take into consideration here, that this guy might be someone that we can bring in for money. Saying that it's hard to sort of bring him in right now. He is a forward actually too, so that's just really awkward because we already have the forward line that's plugged up with Bannon and Clintman. So unless I'm making like a downgrade from Clintman to this guy, it's probably not happening. And Clintman's pretty reliable too. I didn't mean to add him to the watch list, but that's fine. He's there. As we see, Matiang comes in with a 20 as well. He's also at he's at a much more expensive price, but a good break even and someone that's getting dividends for them missing a center more or less. And PJC just honestly having an off game here. He was just missing the shots that once again he has been making previously. He made a lot of turnovers that I don't think he had been making previously. And it just didn't really look like a good game from him. McDowell White came out with a lot of assists. Lavifa went off, and Lamb had a pretty good game too. So yeah, I mean, that's really I think this is the starting five. They run Abercrombie with the top four here. Actually, no, McDowell White comes off the bench. Liafa comes, he definitely starts. Lamb came off the bench as well. Man, are they running Abercrombie, Matiang, Cartwright, Liafa? And then I feel like but Lamb came off the bench in the second game, so maybe Delaney falls into that category. I don't know. Their rosters, they're doing whatever they want off the bench, but it doesn't really matter because everyone's getting, it's about the core time they get. It doesn't matter if they come off the bench or not. So, sorry, I'm going to stop rambling unnecessarily, as I always do. Cairns side of things, look, not bad for us at the end of the day. Like, a lot of 20s coming across from these guys, and at the end of the day, if they're going to be playing double-ups every week when other teams aren't, if you get 20, that's 40 points. Most players aren't going to meet it to 40 points on a single, so if they can continue with 20s every game, it's actually completely possible. Clintman could have gone off again. This man had 5 turnovers in this game, 10 points down the drain, and I didn't actually see him get 5. I was really surprised when I saw this. Wonderboy had a down game, and I think he had 3 turnovers himself, and Qual also had 3 turnovers. So a lot of turnovers from our players these games, and it just points down the drain, which really hurt. But as I said, really not too bad from them overall. I think Wonderboy is definitely affected by Armstrong coming back and the other guards coming back, because as I mentioned last week, he runs the sort of point. He's a playmaking center, and they run him at sort of the top of the 3. He makes passes. He looks really good. Armstrong comes back, and all of a sudden they're not doing that as much with Wonderboy anymore, which is taking away from his scoring assist-wise. Saying that, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to watch him make passes and people just botch layups. Super annoying. Saying that, he botches layups too. I think that's the most annoying thing about Kansas. They probably, I swear, give up the most easy points out of any team. Like, they get the good pass, and they get what should be an easy bucket, and they just somehow mess it up. I don't know if that's a stat, that's just how it feels watching them. But yeah, Armstrong comes back and has a perfectly fine, good first game. So still on everyone's list, and 69k, let's be honest, we're all bringing him in. And if you're not, I don't think it's not worth bringing him in. He's someone that's going to be scoring on your bench, and he's going to be making some money. It might not be crazy money, but he has double after double after double coming up. Like, he's just going to sit on your bench and make good points at least for a guy at 69k. And for someone like me who has Henshaw sitting there not doing anything, that's a huge upgrade. Now we'll jump down to Illawarra Hawks. Yeah, this ended up being a blowout, this game. This didn't really matter. Aldridge got a few turnovers, and yeah, I almost don't even remember this game. Actually, I do. I remember Johnson having some good moments. Bale's playing a lot of this game. Yeah, I don't know. Illawarra games, I don't find them fun to watch. They're getting belted out in this game. Anything that's noticeable? I don't even think there's anything noteworthy except for Jalen Adams is insane. 38 points there, so anyone that had him probably had him on the captaincy and probably feel pretty good about that. Yeah, I can't even think of anything that's noteworthy in this game. That's what happens when you watch 8 games in the week. You can't remember everything, and in this case, I feel like I've just blocked the Illawarra game out of my mind. What? Jump down to Jack Jumpers versus Brisbane. Now, this one was a good game to watch, and once again, a game where I thought Sobey was going to do so well, and then he ends up with 5 turnovers as well. And he throws it away with 10 seconds left on the clock as well. The game's super close. They just need a score. He tries to drive into traffic, and he just throws it over his head, and it ends up being, I'm pretty sure, across court or out of court, whatever he did at this stage. And they get the turnover, and it's great. Now you didn't just lose your team the game, you lost some more points. Come on, Sobey. I think the most annoying thing out of Sobey in this game was that the Sobey we know drives the ball and shoots. He loves to just force up shots that aren't there. This week, he'd drive the ball, run into a bit of trouble, and he'd sort of throw up alley-oops. Like, just put them up in the air and just want Harrison to throw them down. And every time he did it, Harrison just wasn't open. I mean, he only did like twice that ended up being turnovers that I remember. But Harrison just wasn't there for them. Like, bro, the guy's standing still. I get it that he's tall. If it's Rocco, it's a little bit different because he's so tall that it's uncontestable. But you're throwing it up when he's got two guys around him, and it ends up being turnovers. And it's like, Selby, you know what? The Selby I know would have shot those. And even if they missed, which they definitely would have, it's not -2. So, I mean, yeah, a bit disappointing in Selby this week. He just wasn't very good and just had a lot of turnovers and just, yeah. Crawford did really well. Doyle got cooking towards the end of this game. McVeigh pretty average. Was there anything really noteworthy in this game? Yeah, I don't really think there's anything crazy from Jack Jumper's side of things. For those that were holding like Crawford or Doyle on the bench this week or McVeigh, like, they got serviceable scores out of them, so nothing wrong there. As I mentioned, Harrison has a great score, Bannon ends up with a great score, and the rest of this team isn't really too noteworthy. But yeah, at least it was a good game. Now, this game I actually didn't watch, so I'm not really going to go through this game. Obviously, for what I heard, Cotton was back, and he went off, and he dropped like 33 points or something, and they end up beating Adelaide, which is really cool. But yeah, not a game I watched. I was out drinking Saturday night, so I ended up watching this game Sunday morning, and by the time I watched this game, the other games are starting, and I just knew I was going to run out of time in the week to get this all done, and I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna look at the stats. I just don't really care, which is something I don't normally do. Like, I actually watch all these games, and you guys would probably notice that in the week that I'm not actively talking in like Discords or in Twitter or anything like that. And the reason for that is purely that I'm trying not to get spoilers for these games. I'm always a little bit behind in them. I never watch them when they're actually live. I always watch them a little bit later, and because of that, I'm never really active until like you see me active at like 12 p.m. at night or something, because I finally caught up in the games, and then I can start talking about them. But in this case, yeah, I didn't end up watching this game because I just sort of ran out of time. As I said, Doolittle 19 points. When I saw that, I was like, you know what, this is fine. SARS 18. I was like, yeah, expected. Hopefully he doesn't go too big in the next game and we can get over it. Ends up dropping 23 in the next game, and it's a little bit sad. So yeah, we won't talk about that too much. This next game, now this one, Southeast Melbourne. They honestly should have been Cairns the first time, but that's when Cook got down injured earlier in the week, and they weren't running a centre. They were running Creek as centre, and they kind of just got bullied inside. Williams puts out a double-double. He gets fouled off. Again, I'm pretty sure. Creek gets a double-double, and Brown comes through for 2 good games in a row. Kenyon, actually, yeah, he did have a lot of good moments. He was hitting threes. He was hitting buckets inside. I remember him doing quite well, actually. But yeah, they just end up running over them at the end of the day, and damn, just Williams is so good, and I was really happy with Creek's game out of this bit. Yeah, I like Williams, like mid-range floaters are so disgusting to watch. Like, just gets at the free throw line, just does this little push up like that, and it just drops in every time, and very annoying. But Cairns, look at this scoring. This Supercoach scoring is dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful, and I'm gonna say the reason of it is, once again, they're giving up easy buckets when they shouldn't be. As I've mentioned, Quol got an easy pass inside. Menenga gets easy passes inside. Like, they're just making easy passes, and then the team's just not following through with the bucket, and it's punishing Supercoach-wise. Bobby got a really nice steal early in this game. I'm pretty sure if Brownie's terrible passing gets a good slam to start off, and starts off pretty well. McCall's back, so there's more people to share points with as well, so it's a little bit more painful that way too. We'll have Miller probably back next week, so more people to share points with as well, which could be a bit of a problem, but look, their run's just so good that, as I mentioned, even if they're getting these somewhat average scores, it's going to be a lot better than people sitting there on the single. Cole comes through with the 19, which is fine. He's someone that missed some easy buckets too. Remember Menenga giving him a feed inside, and he missed it. When I say easy buckets too, he had a lot of these back downs where he's getting people to like the block, and he's doing his 180 like shot. And we've seen previously that Cole's pretty good at dropping that shot, but he just couldn't get it. 3-point wise, he kept it in the front of the ring. Like, they were dead straight, just not dropping, and it's just off a little bit, and it was unfortunate. because he'd gone, 20 plus points wise, 3 games in a row, like actual scoring wise. And then this game, he only ended up with like 14 points. So, and that wasn't something for the lack of having the shots. It was a lack of scoring the shots that he has been scoring previously. So a little bit lackluster from him in this game. But overall, not bad for the pickup. As we said, he put out 40, I think, 3. His break even was like 20, so he made some money. And yeah, I mean, if he's going to be putting out 40, as I said, a lot of people in their singles are not going to be matching that, especially a lot of bench players on their singles. Wonder Boy, super frustrating that he got so angry in this game. For anyone that watched this game, this man actually threw a tantrum in the game, which is so unfortunate because I'd really been enjoying him, and then he just got so silly. He got so upset. He gets a dime inside from, I'm pretty sure it might have been Qual, and then he just misses his wide open give me. Like, it was so free, misses it, and then he gets a foul under the basket afterwards because it's like, I don't know if he's just frustrated, but he just was way too physical. And it was like, come on, man. And then, like, they pass the in-ball the ball to, like, bring it down the court, and he just gets physical with the dribbler, and he just gets a foul again. It's like, okay, dude, chill out. And then they drive, and he fouls again, and you're like, bro. And then, as I said, I'm pretty sure he makes a good pass, or something else happens again. I think he makes a good pass to maybe Qual or Clintman, and they end up missing the shot again, which, once again, annoying. And then he just hassles. Look, to be fair, I don't think this one was really a foul, but he ends up getting a foul on the dribbler again, unnecessarily. And he just got, I don't know if it was 3 fouls. I don't know if he got one under their basket, but he got at least 3, maybe 4 fouls in, like, a few minute stint where he was just throwing a temper tantrum. He was yelling at the refs. And he ended up just getting subbed off, being like, bro, like, you saw McCall at one stage literally telling him, like, bro, you need to chill. Like, why are you so mad? And he just threw a tantrum. Yeah, and then in this play as well, he had a bunch of turnovers at this time as well. He turned it over, I think, maybe twice. He missed the easy bucket. Qual at one stage was trying to dribble up on Gary Brown. It got tipped, and then he got across court, so Qual lost some points. It was just 5 minutes where I think straight up Cairns turned the ball over 5 to 6 possessions in a row, and they kept being like my players doing it too. Like, it was Wonder Boy, it was Qual, it was Clintman. They were just, actually Clintman didn't get a single turnover this game, so really proud of him. Great work from him. But yeah, Qual or Wonder Boy, I'm pretty sure Wonder Boy ended up with 5 turnovers in this game by the end of it, and it was all in this really short period of time where he just threw the game out the window. Like, so frustrating that he got all these turnovers, and then, as I said, he just wasn't scoring these buckets that he should have been scoring, and his teammates missing assists. And yeah, he just ends up on this 14 because, honestly, of a 5-minute temper tantrum. Like, it's just very frustrating that happened. I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, chill. Like, obviously, we don't know what's happening in his personal life. Like, I don't know if that's affected it at all, or if he was just really frustrated at the game. I mean, we don't see everything. We don't see if there are little elbows there or here or what exactly is happening in that game. But something set him off, like, bad, and I don't know what it was, but it just meant that he really threw his Supercoach out the window because of it, which was very unfortunate to see. Jump down to Sydney Breakers. Make this one nice and quick. Lamb went off in this game. Cartwright did pretty well. We'll take a 32 out of him in reality. Hogue was splashing a lot of threes and looked really good. Adams came out with a good follow-up game. Yeah, nothing crazy here. As I mentioned, the next star actually not putting out bad score. I mean, he's like honestly priced at like 8 right now, and I think he can definitely be scoring over that. But once again, he's only forward, so it does kind of put you in a position where we're not moving people on to him. Maybe we could downgrade Clintman right now, take a bit of extra cash to help set us up for some future weeks. That wouldn't be the end of the world. But Clintman, I think, is really not, I don't know. We'll talk about that a bit later in trades. I remember actually what happened here. Like, this was really unfortunate for New Zealand because Sydney, there's just something about New Zealand versus Sydney, but Sydney love to score threes against them. Sean Bruce comes out, hits a 3. Glover comes out, hits a 3. Bruce hits another 3. Glover hits a 3. They hit another 3. Like, DJ Hogg is hitting threes. Like, they were just draining 3 after 3 after 3. Valentine scored the first bucket of the game with a 3. And he scored another one a little bit later. Like, I don't know what the 3-ball count was at the end of this game. I know Noi definitely scored one as well. But their 3-point shooting percentage felt insanely high in this game. And that's what made life so hard for New Zealand because they don't really, as I said, they didn't really have the inside. Like, Matty Yang is trying to do his best, but I think they are a bit lackluster inside, so then they naturally collapse on the inside. The ball gets kicked out or the ball gets swung quickly. Like, Sydney has good offense to set that up, and they're splashing threes on them, and there's just nothing they could do. This was the Lamb show, where Lamb was single-handedly trying to keep them in this, which was really good. He was just insane. He was scoring buckets everywhere, getting rebounds. Like, he was just, hitting threes, taking it inside. He was just very, very good for them. Anyone that had Lamb in just got really rewarded at the end of the day of this week. So, yeah, congrats. And then this game, the only game that happened yesterday, Luau. Wow, I did not realize Luau Jr. went insane. That's crazy. He's actually gone up in money at this, like, back to his starting price. Like, that's a single game he's dropped 47 in. That's really crazy. And this is with the fall of Hookporty. Hookporty doesn't really get any court time here, and he gets a -1, and anyone that's holding him was really left holding the bag. Delhi came back, and he was instrumental for them. He was so good. Not crazy amount of points, but a lot of assists and getting rebounds and just very active. I remember, Baldwin having a good game too. I didn't actually see Illy. I'm surprised he's on 28. I feel like he disappeared. Clark went off early, and then, I don't know, like, we know in this game, obviously Travers goes off in the first couple of minutes, and he gets a turnover in the play that he goes off, and he gets the -2, and this is where we look at if we, it's a good thing I just didn't hold Travers, and for those that did, it's very unfortunate. Honestly, it was Hiram Harris. Hiram Harris is here on the 4 points. He straight up tripped him. Like, you watched it as Travers drives, he throws his foot out to try and trip him. I couldn't hear the commentary in this game because we were watching TV and I had the game on the side, but Hiram Harris straight up tried to trip him. I don't know what the commentating was there, but that was such a deliberate trip, and it looked like he threw his foot. He didn't quite make the contact, but he skimmed his leg enough that he's clearly caused him to go down. Oh, and I remember, and then Travers has head-butted Hookporty's thigh. So this is the problem here. He's not only taken out Travers has then fallen into Hookporty, and they're both basically out of the game from here. Travers doesn't come back. I think Huck came back for a little bit in the game. I don't quite remember. I think he did. I feel like I saw him on the court later on, but he was clearly not in it anymore. And it was just really unfortunate for anyone that held them because, Hiram Harris just tripped him. It was just dirty. Yeah. Clark started off pretty well, and then, I don't know, just didn't really need him later on or something. I just don't remember seeing him doing too much later on in this game. I mean, Delhi, as I said, was going off. And Doolittle goes off in this game because Pinder gets fouled off, which is so annoying. Which means that with Pinder going off, Sarr is their main forward. And the thing with Doolittle is Doolittle's been someone who's been playing 30-plus minutes every game. That's something that I did look at, and I did notice the last few weeks that he's been playing 30-plus minutes. So you feel like with that amount of court time is that he's a pretty safe 20. And as I mentioned, for his price, he's only priced at like this 17 or so. And I think he can definitely perform above that. But with Pinder not being able to really play this game as much as he would have liked, Doolittle ends up going off, and this makes me wonder that, if Pinder didn't have this foul trouble, last 5 minutes of the game, he gets to keep playing in overtime, and he's probably pushing a 30-plus, but instead doesn't get there. Doolittle has a great game. Cotton has a good game too. Sarr ends up getting a lot more court time with Pinder, obviously in trouble as well. And just because of this, as I said, like, Pinder being their main center, the second that he was into trouble, these backup centers or the four-man in Doolittle's case, who's still a really big man, just gets to come on and do a lot more work. And it's a bit unfortunate for us that we moved on Sarr this week. We chose against Doolittle, but as I said, I gotta stop bringing this up because it is round by round, and in the overall scheme of things, the round didn't really go that bad. Now, I probably rambled on way too long again. I'm really hoping this doesn't end up another 40-minute video, but I think it will. Damn, I'm so sorry to everyone. We're looking at trades this week. Trades, as I said, are pretty straightforward. We're definitely bringing in, where is our boy? Armstrong, and I would recommend that to absolutely everybody to bring in Armstrong. Then the next thing to do, it's like I don't really have a good second trade here. The other thing that I compared with Aldridge and Sarr when I did decide to keep Aldridge is that I always planned on moving them this week. So if I was going to be moving Aldridge or Sarr this week, then at the end of the day, Sarr had like a 45 break even and Aldridge had a -3. Now, Sarr, it's not unreasonable for him to make that 45, but he's probably just not going to do it, where Aldridge is guaranteed to make money. So I thought in the grand scheme of things, yes, Sarr's going to outscore him, but Aldridge will probably make significantly more money. Nope, Aldridge gets a 1, makes like 4K. Sarr ends up getting to like 41, loses like 4K. It's really not a meaningful amount of money to have given up 20 points. So that's a little bit unfortunate there. And I did plan on moving him this week, but with only 60k in the bank, there's not really anyone I can move him to except for maybe Menenga. But Menenga, break even is 6. Aldridge's break even is 3 this round. Like, I might as well just keep Aldridge for an extra round here and worry about him the following week if I really need. Where we know Sobi, who has a terrible break even right now. I know it's 40 plus, 45 on a single game. Yes, he can meet that, but then even after the single game, he then has a single again. So I could bring in somebody this week for Sobi to help prep for those follow-up games. And that's what I think I would prefer to do. So we move on Sobi. We're not going to be looking at break-evens anymore. We're going to jump to the averages here. And we're looking at these guys that are on doubles. And the ones that have doubles coming up in round 8 is going to be Bryce and Miller. Miller obviously good for the long term, but we don't really know how he's going to be affected by the return of McCall. His break-even 17, so he's hopefully not going to jump too much in cash. So I do actually just want to go Cotton this week. Cotton does sort of leave me holding the baby, though, holding the bag, I guess, in the following week. Does he? No, not really. Because let's see. Everybody's basically on a double. Then everybody plays this week. Then I would move Creek in round 8. And I can move Aldridge. And then everyone else is going to be on a double in round 8. Except for Ben, who we're obviously going to keep holding. So that actually works out pretty well. Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. That's fine by me. Yeah, I think that's fine. Captains this week. Honestly, I always plan on making Pinder captain going into the small New Zealand lineup. After this week, though, I'm a little bit iffy about it, but I think I'm still just going to do it. Let's just, we'll leave the team like this. I'm trying to wrap this up quickly because I know I've been rambling for way too long. Team doesn't look too bad. I'm not too unhappy with it on the single week. I'm expecting Wonderboy to bounce back, preferably. Preferably. I hope he bounces back. Armstrong playing, meaning we no longer have this did not play sitting on our bench in Henshaw, so that should hopefully naturally increase our round rank. And then we can start mounting this comeback, because we're falling a bit behind in points for our overall rankings. We're 200 behind the guy in first. We're only 70 behind the guy in fifth. That's just how big of a gap the guy in first has. But he does have a very different team. He has a lot of Brisbane players, and he's going to have to use this round and next round's trades to really get his team set up moving forward, which he may be able to do. Sorry, they may be able to do. I don't know their names. I don't know what gender they are. So they may be able to do that, but I'm pretty happy with how my team is right now and how it is going to be going forward at this time. So hopefully we can make up some ground from there. So yeah, look, guys, once again, tell me how your team went. Send me your trades. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me your plans. I love hearing it all, and I love being able to give advice with it. And if you disagree with it, feel free to turn around and go stuff me, because that also works really well. So yeah, till next time, guys. Peace. Later.